it's been a hot minute. I have been so head down vibe coding with the apps I'm working on and my site, which is live. I'm going to give you guys just a little quick sneak peek at that, only because that's not what this video is about. It was in building the site that I realized something, and then of course, as I continued with this massive deep dive and rabbit hole and pivot to focusing solely on AI and how I'm using it in my business. And again, my goal is I want to show women how to leverage AI based on their life experience and how we can bring it into play in our businesses. All right, but that's not the point of today's video. Today's video, I am speaking specifically to the female entrepreneurs out there because we've got a problem. That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hey guys, what's going on? Kim Doyle here. So again, this is specifically for the women out there and or the men who want to understand what's happening for women in the AI space, which is going to be beneficial because my guess is that we are some of your customers too. And this is nothing to do with the amazing men that I have connected with or am following and learning from. Like, everybody's here and I friggin' love it. However, the women are not here enough or in big enough numbers. And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to show you. And this is more about the technology of AI. This is not a political video. This has nothing to do with any of that, other than we want these tools to represent us and be trained on how women think, feel, behave, write, act, engage, all of those things. So this started because I was building out the directory. Well, I should say there's two things. So I've got this big directory on my website, and I'm going to show you in a minute. It's an AI resources hub, and there is a tools directory and a terms directory, and there is an AI innovators directory, and I'm highlighting female innovators. Of course, I share and talk about men that are building and doing great things, but for the site, that's my target audience. That's who I'm talking to, okay? I had a hard time, to be quite frank. Now, mind you, I'm not super active on LinkedIn. I am jumping back into that because I know that's where a lot of women who are innovating and building with AI are also hanging out. But even on YouTube, it was kind of hard to find. Now, of course, since I've started searching for it, the algorithm starts serving you that up. And that's great. That's great. But there are a ton of younger women in AI, and I'm a Gen Xer. I'm midlife. And we bring something different to the table, and there is no being behind in this. It's like everyone's behind, everyone's catching up, everyone's on the forefront. There's no rules. That's my newsletter this week, actually, and I'll link to that if you've not subscribed to the Spark. That goes out every Thursday. But I talked about the fact that there are no real rules right now. This really is a new version of the Wild Wild West. So first of all, what I want to do is show you the AI innovators and this directory piece of it. And again, I built my website with Mocha. And so we're going to go ahead and jump in, and I'll show you that right now. So here's the website. And you guys, this was a project, man, to get all this stuff in. And it goes so deep, the SEO piece of it, and you'll see what I mean in a second, that now I'm going through and double checking links. And of course there's stuff broken, but you know, welcome to the web. I guess that's a good thing about having been in this space for 17 and a half years now, that you just realize the world doesn't end because something is broken on your site. Anyway, so you start here in the top right, we've got AI resources, right? And so this is a hub. So we're featuring a tool, a concept, and an innovator. So I'll rotate these out weekly. I've got a featured tool, Whisperflow. If you're not using it, you guys, I'll link to that in the comments also. I have now officially dictated, look at this, 459,000 words over the last 14 weeks. That's how much I'm using this tool. And then you scroll down and we've got these three primary categories from the hub. We have essential tools, which is the AI tools directory. We've got key concepts and innovator spotlights. That's where I ran into it. But I'm just going to show you a little sneak peek at this. So we have the tools directory, and then we have categories. So you go into the LLMs, and then you've got the LLMs, and then we go deeper. So you can see, and I do that with the terms. There's categories and terms. We don't go deeper with individual. I mean, they each have their own page. That's about it. So here's the terms. You can see. So here's foundational concepts. and then you can go deeper with each of these. The Innovator Spotlight, I am on a mission. And so, first of all, if you are a female entrepreneur, you do not need to be midlife. There are a ton of brilliant young women I'm learning from as well. Let me know. I am looking for women to highlight in future on the site. So the areas of expertise that we broke this into was AI for marketing and content, business systems automation, education and career growth, and then we have custom AI tools and development. So, and I know there's more, guys. There we go. Their images are loading. I got to double check on that. I'm using Cloudflare for the CDN. So each of these women then has their own page. But what hit me was that it shouldn't have been that hard. It really should not have been that hard to figure that out. So then something else that I'm going to go ahead and, I don't need to change the screen share here. So then the second thing that occurred that made me realize we are missing a huge opportunity here is that I saw an app launched, and I don't remember where I saw it, but it was the Great Thinkers, like throughout history. And there was not one single female great thinker. I mean, let's stop to think about it. There are incredible women throughout history, current history, poets, authors, scientists, doctors, programmers, anyways. So it made me a little crazy. And forget my own personal views on any of that. Here's what I want you to think about. So I've got some stats for you, but then I'm going to show you. We're going to do a little screen share because this is going to blow your mind too. Let's go here. Okay, so a couple things. Here's a little bit of stats for you and just some bullet points. 22% of AI professionals are women. That's it, 22%. Conference speaker lineups tend to be predominantly men. There is an upcoming women's, it's called She Leads AI, and I'll link to their conference as well. It's all women in AI. And then, of course, there's funding disparities from venture capitalists. So here's the thing, though. Forget the data there. What I want you to think about when it comes to AI is that these tools don't just learn from code, they're learning from us. So every interaction is training data. Your questions, your preferences, your workflows, the prompts you give it when you want to create an image, the style of the image is based on what you're giving it, right? Prompting. And you think about, we've got context engineering where the more context you give, the better. And I don't know if any of my other fellow midlife and older women have noticed this, but if you give the description of a midlife entrepreneur to ChatGPT, you get kind of a hokey little mom, or everyone's got gray hair. They're all golden girls. And most 70-plus-year-olds that I know are not looking like golden girls. That was my grandmother's generation. But that's what these tools think midlife women look like. It's a little frustrating. So when I do stuff, I have fun creating those Pixar 3D style images. And I say a midlife woman with long blonde, light brown, wavy hair, and I give a hoodie, casual clothes. I make her look more like me. And they're cartoons, whatever. But you get my point, is that you have to be very specific. And so we need more women describing the women that they are, the women they want to see, because it's really important. Same thing. So here's some concrete examples, right? Voice assistants. They are programmed to be submissive because early training came from customer service scripts. Meeting scheduling, tools learn direct, brief communication versus contextual communication styles. And so search results, same thing. If mostly men search leadership styles, AI associates leadership with male examples. This is really, really important. How many top 10 business books are ever by women that you see? And there are 10 brilliant females very easily. I know a couple of them who have written incredible business books. And I'm not talking, these don't have to be New York Times bestsellers. But the point is, women aren't coming up with that. So, content creation, 80% male users. AI learns male communication patterns as standard business language. So if normal is mainly one perspective, that's all they know. So think of it this way. I'm sure many of you know this by now, but that I think it's 3% of all medical funding in the United States goes to research on women. That's it. Our bodies are very different. There have been up until probably the last 10 years, menopause, perimenopause, all of the things that women experience that men don't, all of our medical data is structured and tailored on a male body. So, of course, women get gaslit often with doctors. And it's because there's nothing to refute, dispute the point. And so I want you to think about this. This is really important, and it's not about, we don't want stuff trained by men. Think about hustle culture. And hustle culture was based on a male cycle, meaning males' hormones and energy cycles is completely different to women. And so our typical American culture of, God forbid we don't work 40 to 60 hours a week, but that schedule, that structure was built on how men's bodies naturally rise to that schedule and that structure and that workflow. We do not want the same thing to happen with AI. Okay, so here's something I've been playing with, and I may play with it, but what if I did a female Great Thinkers app? I'm not going to copy the name, but where you could talk to Marie Curie or Maya Angelou or Frida Kahlo and think about what happens when women engage with those great thinkers. Gloria Steinem. I mean, I just did. Who was the code breaker? There were code breakers in World War II. I mean, think about the three NASA, the black women who put us on the moon, right? Who helped us get to the moon. And if it weren't for them, and I will link their names, I'm totally drawing a blank because I just pulled that out of my hair, is we didn't hear about them. So then girls didn't think about becoming scientists that could help or go work at NASA. Now, I'm going sideways. Let's circle back to the AI, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what I mean. Okay, so we're going to jump in, first of all, to this tool. I'm going to sneeze. Or maybe not. There's a tool that a friend of mine recommended to me. It's called PhotoGPT. She showed me her photos, and for what it's worth, because I don't want to take tons of selfies, and so to be able to take an image of yourself, just so that I've got a different photo on my website, as an example. So she told me about this app, and I went and tried it, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to point out a couple little things to you. Again, I've told you guys, I'm 55, midlife. I'm a Gen Xer. First of all, I'm not ashamed. Do I love all the wrinkles and stuff? No, but I loved the sun in the 80s and 90s. It is what it is. I'm done playing that game. But let me show you these photos. Okay, so first of all, okay, so this one over here on the left. So some of these look like me. This looks almost like me. What the actual hell is this shit, you guys? What? What? Okay, so that's one thing to point out. So these are fine, and I think I mean, that doesn't look like me. Doesn't look like me. Some of these, but, what? That's great. That's great. I don't need to look like that. Would it be great? Sure. And actually, I'm feeling pretty good. I've lost some weight. I feel fine. So I have to be, 30 to 40. And don't get me wrong, women can look this way at any age. I'm not saying that. But I didn't request those photos, is my point. The other thing, besides this, I don't know, glamour shot from hell, you'll notice in many of the photos, specifically, first, how many 55-year-olds do you know with the belly ring? Have at it if your belly looks like that. I wish mine did, but I don't. But either way, the wedding ring. I'm widowed. I'm not dating anyone. Why is there an assumption that I've got a wedding ring on? Felt a little bit weird. And so that, I want to show you something else. If you've not played with this, I'm pulling up this photo. This is me. This is before I changed out the color of my background here. It was navy before. Great. Gemini 2.5 Flash just came out the night before I'm recording this, and you can take a photo and change a few things around. So I did the simple stuff. So let's go to here. I changed the color of my shirt and said, put me in front of a bookcase. Yeah, not too bad, you guys, right? Like, how long until that can be a video? I love this shit. Anyway, so that's that. Oh, I did one more. This was, you can't tell, this was a selfie. And this was actually at Christmas time. And I was standing in front of a Christmas tree. I said, put me in front of a rustic coffee shop. Of course, I look like I'm opening the shop. My friend Jason said, hey, you look like you're opening the shop for the day because there's no one else in there. So then I thought I would try, all right, this training of the models was pretty good, and changing the color, the background, and you'll notice a few things between, like my hair is a little more unkempt over here versus here. But it still looks like, look, I've got some little wispies over here. That's fine. So then I said, put me in a coffee shop working at a table on a laptop. I've got a cappuccino and a notebook. There are other patrons in the coffee shop, and it's decorated for fall. Holy shit, you guys. Okay, so this was the photo. I don't know why I look like I'm scowling, but do you notice anything? A wedding ring again. Why? Why is it assuming I'm married? I'm not offended that it did, but the point is, this is trained on a perception. And I'm just thinking, this is very interesting. All of that to say, let me pull up my notes here. All of that to say, we as women need to be using these tools just as much as men. We want it trained on our voices, on our rhythms, on the words we use, even the voice models. We want those trained, the video models, the voice models, on our expressions, on our hand gestures, all of this. It's really, really important that these tools get trained on who we are, how we move through the world, how we talk, the way we look, the way women really look, so that we don't end up with tools that have a complete bias to one gender. That's all I'm saying. I think it's really important. Not to mention, this is one of the most exciting times, you guys. Here I think I'm using AI because it's going to create leverage in my life, and I'm going to buy my time back with AI. But I am working more hours than I have worked, more days a week, because I'm having so much fun. It truly does not feel like work. And all of this aside, even if you are not an entrepreneur or you can't quite see a use case for how you would use AI, play with it, test it, try it, reach out to me. I'm happy to share, make suggestions. There are so many use cases and so many different ways to think about using these tools, and it is moving at the speed of light. That doesn't mean you have to jump in today, but play. That's I guess that's my call to action, is to play with it, to try it. And I'll tell you this is another little tip for the day. One of the easiest ways to differentiate yourself if you are an entrepreneur, if you have a business moving forward, is going to be to keep that human element in your business. I jokingly teased and have written in my post that a lot of these new AI tools, the default customer service is a Discord server. Discord, Slack make me cuckoo. It is what it is. I will mold. But the point is, you want to stand above these other tools, or if you want to stand above another company or a provider or a coach, whatever it is, stay in touch with your customers. Add in a human element that people are going to really, really crave the more our world becomes automated. As much as I love it all, nothing beats somebody saying, let's hop on a call, let me help you with that. Or having voice agents that you have trained for your business. Anyways, all that is to say, ladies, this is my request to you to utilize these tools to find a way that it works for you in your life, in your business, whatever way works best for you, if this resonates with you, because to beat a dead horse here, we want these models trained on both genders. That's what we're looking for. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you next time.